Hello, I'm Denise Hill. I love sharing stories of my experiences with celebrities, politicians, some of your favorite musicians and artists, but most importantly, I love sharing the stories of everyday people. Their lives serve as opportunities to inspire, empower, and educate. It is my honor to share the stories of those who fought the fight against breast cancer and won. The So Alive Project is all about sharing the stories of survivors and caregivers. Whether you are in the fight, a survivor yourself, supporting someone who is in the fight, or just want to be informed, my hope is that this story will bless you. Please make sure you subscribe to this page or set your notifications on all social media so you don't miss one. I am at The Denise Hill. One of these stories just might change your life. I'm Denise Hill, and this is the So Alive Project. I'm here with Miss Maria Gay. How are you?
I am wonderful, and you?
I'm fabulous now that I get to chat with you.
Oh, well, that's great.
You have a story that unfortunately a lot of women and men share, but each story is unique. So I want to hear your story of being a breast cancer survivor. Is that okay?
Sure.
Can we start from the beginning? How did you find out that you had breast cancer?
I found out from a mammogram, but prior to the mammogram, for some reason, and it was weird, it was like I was having, when I put my arm up in the air, I was having pain down the right side of my body near the breast area. And, it was kind of weird. I went one place and they kind of like brushed it off as nothing. Then I went to my GYN, and it was actually around the time in which I usually have my mammogram. And so I was just going to have a regular mammogram. So she said that instead of that, I'll just have a diagnostic where they do the mammogram and a sonogram. So I had the mammogram. While I was at the place having the mammogram, the radiologist looked at my film. And when she was looking at it, she noticed something that did not look right. And so a few years before, I had a biopsy done on my right breast. And so I still had like a little scar tissue there. And so she had them to put some tape around it so she knew that area to make sure that what she was seeing wasn't something that was already there or as a result of that. And so after she had a couple of more films taken of that, then we had the sonogram done, and the sonogram showed the same thing. Well, she said it was like a circle, and around the circle there were like lines coming out of the circle that, it was kind of weird. And she said that, so after, when she said that, she told me that she wanted me to come back and have a biopsy because she was very concerned about that. She said if it was just a circle, that would have been okay. But because it had the lines, sometimes that signals that something else is going on. And so I had the biopsy done, and approximately 3 days later, they informed me that I had breast cancer. So, of course, I had to go and I think I had a CAT scan or something to show if it was just in one area or if it's in different areas. So mine was just in one area. It was just in my right breast, and it was very small. So I was diagnosed with stage 1 HER2 negative, estrogen positive invasive breast cancer. And it was small. It was like approximately 1 centimeter. So the doctors told me that I just needed to have a lumpectomy and radiation. But and I also took the genetic testing, and that showed that I did not have the gene, but it showed that I had a deviation. And at this time, they don't know what that deviation meant, but I had breast cancer. So I just opted to have a bilateral mastectomy without reconstruction. And I did that for a couple of reasons because I didn't want to have it just have it done in one breast, and then years later have to go through the same thing all over again. So I just decided to have both of them removed. And I also did not want to have to go through having several surgeries with the reconstruction. And then I was told that once you have the reconstruction, approximately 5 years later, you might have to go back in and have it redone because they have to remove the fake breast they put in there. So I just decided to go that route. And I must say that I'm happy being breastless. One time I thought that it would be a challenge for me, but I'm good. I enjoy my life, my new normal, and I'm cancer-free. And that's the good thing. And also, too, because I had the bilateral mastectomy, and my test came back where I did not have to have radiation nor chemo. So I was blessed for that.
Wow. That's a lot. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What is the time frame we're talking about that all of this took place? A year, 2 years, 6 months?
I'm a 2-year cancer survivor. And actually, what's the day? The day is the 3rd. Actually, I had my surgery 2 years from today.
Wow.
2 years ago. Today. Yep.
But from the point where you went and got that mammogram to all of the testing and scans and finally the surgery, how long was that process?
Well, let me see. I originally had my mammogram in July, but I didn't have the surgery until, within that time, because I was actually told that the type of cancer I had, it was slow moving. And so I guess I kind of wanted to, I kind of took my time thinking about different things. And then my kids, they were very active in school with sports. So I was going to wait even longer because I wanted to wait until their season was over. But after I sat down with them and talked to them about it, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and do it. So that was part of the time frame because it could have been done a lot sooner, but it was, I decided to wait. That's why I had it in October.
So I got so many questions from this, because first you said that you had a procedure prior to this, and then also they suggested a lumpectomy, but you went for an entire removal. I'd love to know, one, what took place before, and, was there any conversation about the potential for breast cancer earlier before you actually was diagnosed? And then once you were diagnosed, how hard did you have to advocate for yourself to be able to go through the entire removal versus them saying, no, just the lumpectomy, and you saying, okay, you're the doctor, you know best. Can you talk about both of those?
Okay, well, as far as the thing that I was telling you when I had the biopsy, the biopsy was probably 20 plus years before. And when they did the biopsy, it was benign. And so I didn't have any problems after that. And the doctors, they kept saying lumpectomy. And if it was left up to them, that's what they would have done. But like I said, I basically told them what I wanted, and they did what I wanted. And I was very firm on what I wanted. And so my doctor was fine with it because each time we talked, I told her what I wanted. I told her I did not want reconstruction, even though I did. She suggested that I meet with a surgeon, plastic surgeon, but I decided I didn't. I met with him. I heard what he had to say, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I did what I wanted, and they were supportive.
And there's a huge message in that because there are so many stories of women who, they know what they kind of want in their heart and what they want for their life and their body. But, okay, if you're pushing this particular procedure on me, then I'll go through it. I'll go through the radiation. I'll go through the chemo. And they look back and they were like, you know what, I could have just, if I was going to lose it anyway in the end, why didn't I just go through this? And the choices for each individual of course, vary. But I think the message is definitely you got to be an advocate for yourself. And by you being firm, that's definitely an inspiration for somebody who didn't know whether or not they should go with their gut or solely listen to what the doctor said.
And also, too, it was kind of strange that I talked to a few people, and some of which were breast cancer survivors. And when I told them what I wanted to do or what I was going to do, it's like they kind of tried to talk me out of not having reconstruction. They're like, you're too young for this and you need to do this. And no, that's not what I need to do. So it's a lot. People are against, for some reason, some people are against women not having breasts. And I'm like, you know what? My breasts served their purposes. I was able to nurse my children. And so what do I need them for now? You know, they tried to kill me, as they say. You know, they tried to kill me. So why do I want them?
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yes.
Wow. Listen now, that's a sermon. They trying to kill me. Why am I going to keep it? That works on so many different levels about so many different areas of life. But we going to stick with breast cancer. That's huge.
Yes.
That is a revelation that not many people can get to. It's a sense of self-worth and self-esteem and confidence that it's hard to come by. What do you feel is your motivating factor to get you there?
Well, talking to people helped, because I talked to Shonda Severe, and she was very, very helpful, because when I was thinking about having the mastectomy and everything, you know, you want to talk to somebody who's where you want to be. And so because I knew her story after reading it and everything, I said, you know, let me give her a call and talk to her to see why she made the decision she made and how she feel about it. So basically I talked to her, and she confirmed a lot of things that, you know, that I was thinking about. And so that made my decision even more like I was doing the right thing, or something that I could live with, and it wasn't a bad thing, you know? Because I still remember, you know, sometimes you want to wear like certain shirts or whatever, and you're like, man, if my breasts were smaller, or if I didn't have any breasts, I could just wear whatever I want to wear. Now I can do that. I can wear whatever I want to wear. And if I want some boobs, I can always go buy some, and I can get whatever size I want, you know, each day. But I haven't even done that. And I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
Wear whatever I want. Buy me some boobs if I want. I love it. That is a confidence that I'm telling you. It's a challenge to get to that point for so many people. Even for so many people who aren't even faced with this, that is just a hard place for people to get to. And you have children who are watching you go through this entire process. What was your conversation like with them?
Well, I basically, of course, I didn't tell them until, like I said, I thought about it. I talked to a few other people, and I said, you know, basically I need to tell them before someone else tells them. And so I basically told them that I had cancer and what I was planning to do, and I asked them how they felt about it. And my son, he was like, "Ma, get this disease out of your body. If you have to cut your breast off, then that's fine. Just do what you feel you have to do, because I want you to be here." And my daughter, she doesn't usually talk a whole lot, but, you know, she was fine with it. Me not having breasts or anything like that, they were fine, and they were very supportive. You know, we cried together, but, you know, I guess with anything, I kind of thrive off of them, and I guess I know they thrive off of me. So it's like, if I'm strong, if I show them that I'm strong, then they're going to be strong. Because, you know, a few years ago in 2008, my husband died. And so we had to go through that. And then I knew that with me having this cancer, I didn't want them to think that I wasn't going to be here. And I didn't want to be, you know, say that I'm not going to be here, or, you know, because of this disease. I'm going to fight this just like I did. We lived. When we had my husband passed away, we continued to live. And I knew that with this disease, I'm going to continue to live. and fight it or do whatever I have to do to make sure that I'm here for them.
How about the conversation with your daughter, woman to woman?
Once again, my daughter, for some reason, she just, when you talk to her about stuff, she like crams up. And so I try to talk to her like a little bit at a time. So I'm still working on that because, we talk about it a little bit, but I have to find a way to really talk to her where she won't like pull back, because that's what she does. You talk about things she don't want to talk about, and she pulls back.
I'm assuming she's older. That's an assumption.
Yeah, she's 17 now.
So she's doing exams and everything. Have you had that conversation with her?
You know what? No, and I know that's bad. We talked a little bit. So I said what I'm going to do, I'm going to really have to try to find a way to talk to her about it, to make sure that she is doing her exams and everything. And so that's something that I have to do. I know I've been bad.
No, it's not a judgment at all.
No.
Listen, you got a lot you're dealing with. And I've got one of those daughters who, it's tough to know whether or not things are getting in or not. It's, how's your day? Fine. Like, what is that? We have a conversation. But then later on, you hear her talking to someone else about the same thing. And she's almost regurgitating everything that I said. So it is getting in. I'm sure it's getting in with your daughter as well. And I don't know if there are support groups for children of survivors or not, but perhaps that's a conversation that definitely we can ask of other survivors to make known those types of groups. Were you part of any support groups as a survivor?
I did go to, I had my surgery at Georgetown, and so they had a group there, and I went to that group. We used to have a group at work that I was a member of even prior to becoming a breast cancer survivor. I joined this group to try to help or know what to say to a girlfriend of mine who also, who had breast cancer. So I wanted to be there for her. And so I joined the group at work. But outside of that, no, I didn't join any other groups. I just have friends, neighbors who are survivors. And also, too, my mom, she had breast cancer. So,
wow.
Yes. And I had some aunts and some nieces and cousins.
Oh, I see why your daughter's climbing up. She's probably got some real concern in her mind. And you mentioned you were genetically tested.
It said that I didn't have the gene. But like I said, it said that there was a deviation. And they couldn't explain what deviation was. It's like, well, what does that mean? Because one of my sisters, she also had the test done, and it showed that she had the deviation as well.
Well, I mean, that's so interesting, because you would think with your mother and aunts going through this, there had to have been some conversation prior to you being diagnosed. Do you think the medical community, through your years, perhaps dropped the ball somewhere or missed it or just weren't proactive enough in having the conversations with you?
No, I don't think so. One of the things that, because I had fibrocystic breast, and so, they always say, well, fibrocystic breast, you can't feel, they always feel hard.
Yeah.
So it was hard, to try to feel for anything. But even if they had felt, as far as with me, because my tumor was so small and where it was located, you couldn't feel it. So thank God for the mammogram and for the radiologist that was on duty that day that, discovered it, because if she had not been on duty, it may not have been discovered.
Wow. So you definitely sound like the pillar of confidence and strength. But I know there has to be some challenging times in your story somewhere that someone can glean some inspiration from, because you got out of it. And so you know the way in some respects, the way out of that dark place, feeling like you're by yourself, feeling the pain, feeling the hurt, just the weight of the diagnosis. Can you give some insight into that and some inspiration for those who might be experiencing that now?
Well, I must say that when they first, when I was sitting there and they kept having me to do all of these different tests, a lot of thoughts went through my head, and I didn't want to think about the bad thing, something bad, but, it's always in the back of your your mind. And so when she came out, when she did tell me that there could, she was concerned with the circle and everything, I thought about it. I had to catch the subway back to work, but I was kind of emotional. But I guess with me, because I've been through a lot, like I said, with the loss of my husband, I don't know. I think I'm able to handle a lot of things. So I don't handle things like other people. I think I'm stronger. And I do have my moments where I break down. And sometimes I keep stuff in because I don't want to burden other people. I have to deal with it the way I deal with it. And I might not start the conversation with people, but if they ask me questions and they talk about it, then I'll talk about it. And I'm fine with it. And I'll share stuff if you ask me about it. But that's just the way I deal with things. And I don't know. Like I said, because I've been through so much, I try not to let things bother me. So I always try to think of the bright side of it. And I just try to live life to the fullest.
I know somebody listening is probably asking, what is the bright side of breast cancer?
You know what? The thing is, I found it early. It was discovered early. Early detection is the key, like they said. It was discovered early. I did not have to do radiation. I did not have to do chemo. And actually, sometimes it's just like, you're a mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know how when you have your baby and it's like, okay, pinch me, is this real?
Yeah.
It was like that type of feeling. Am I really going through this? And then within myself, I was kind of thinking, because mine was small, that, okay, you know how they say you're a little pregnant? It's not you're a little pregnant. You either pregnant or you're not.
Right.
And it's like, I had cancer, but my cancer was caught early. So it wasn't like, it was a stage 1. It wasn't a stage 4. But I still had cancer and I still went through things. And I have the scars to show that I had cancer. But at the same, like I said, I just try to think positive, because there were times where I'm like, thought about to myself, it's like, okay, am I worthy of this, saying that I'm a survivor because I didn't go through what someone else went through? But it's like, I don't have to go through what you went through. I went through what I went through. That's and thank God mine was caught early. And so, I that's my blessing. It was caught early. I took care of it. And now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm taking my medication every day, and I'll be taking it for the next approximately 8 years. But praying that cancer never shows its face again in my body, or in anybody's body for that matter.
How about that? Yeah. Well, that last piece is an important piece, because some people may think, well, she just had her breast removed and that's it. She doesn't have to think about it anymore because they're gone. But you just said you're on medication. So there's still a process that you're still undergoing.
Yes, every day. Every day I have to take a pill, tamoxifen, every single day. And with that, some people have like really bad side effects from it. With me, if I have them, I think it's very mild. So, some people talk about their hair falling out, gaining weight, mood swings and stuff like that. Now, I think I have hot flashes. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm going into menopause and it's that time because of my age, or if it's because of the tamoxifen. So people have joint pain and different things like that. So even with the medication, I feel that I'm blessed that I don't have those things happening to me.
Well, for anybody who wants to look at you and say, she's not a survivor, whatever, you have been through some stuff, sis. You are definitely a survivor, and we celebrate you for continuing to fight and for definitely being transparent and sharing your story. I definitely appreciate you. Do you have any last words you want to share with anyone?
I just want to say, ladies, if you have not gotten a mammogram, please go get your mammogram. Stay on top of your health. If you do not do your monthly breast self-exams, please start doing those. Even though you might have fibrocystic breast, you can't feel anything, but do it anyway. And if you are a survivor, if you newly discovered survivor, then take care of yourself. Release whatever tension you have in your life, live life to the fullest. Get rid of all your stress and everything like that. But live life. Enjoy life. Live it one day at a time, but enjoy every moment, second of it. Yeah. And you know what? It seemed like, matter of fact, I got off the phone with a friend of mine who was just diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's going through chemo now. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And she said, I had posted something on Facebook, and so she said she saw my Facebook page, and so she reached out to me, and so we talked. I'm like, man, every time you turn around, you hear somebody has breast cancer.
And I'm learning that there are so many different varieties, but like you said, the key is to catch it early. Catch it early.
Yes.
Stay on top of your health. I love that you said release all that stress out your life and live life.
Yes.
Well, I thank you again for your story and sharing it with us. I celebrate you as a survivor and as a woman, and I just appreciate you for sharing.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm praying that this will touch someone and they'll go and do what they know they need to do, and they will be a survivor too.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Praying that they find a cure for this disease.
I'm with you on that one. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. You take care.
My hope is that this story has helped to educate you, empower you, and encourage you. We offer all the love and support we can for those who are in the darkest of moments, and we celebrate that we're so alive for those who have been victorious and survived the great challenge they call breast cancer. Most importantly, I honor the legacies of those who are at rest from the fight. I appreciate each and every person for their willingness to share their story, and I look forward to bringing you more. Make sure to follow me on social media. I am the Denise Hill. You stay blessed.